Ladies and gentlemen, let me start with a truth most people don't want to hear. Your mind is your best friend and your worst enemy. It can build your empire or burn it down before you even start. People talk about changing the world, but how can you change anything if you can't first reset the thoughts that limit you? Today, I want to share 9 habits. These are not tricks. They're not hacks. They are mindsets, disciplines that can transform the way you think, act, and live. If you apply even 3 of these, I promise you won't just think better. You'll be better. Let me start with something simple, but powerful. Your thoughts are the foundation of your life. Everything you are today and everything you will ever become begins with the way you think. Before you build a business, a family, or a dream, you must first build your mind. But here's the truth. Most of us are not living with our own thoughts. We are living with thoughts that were handed to us by society, by fear, by past failures, by people who gave up on their own dreams and want you to do the same. So if your mind is full of other people's limitations, how can you ever live your own potential? If you want to change your life, you must first reset your thinking. Just like we reset a broken machine or restart a phone that is stuck, your brain sometimes needs a reboot, not because it is weak, but because it has been overwhelmed. Resetting your thoughts is not a luxury. It's a necessity, and I want to share with you 9 habits that will help you do exactly that. These habits are not theories. They are not motivational slogans. They are disciplines. I have used them, I've failed at them, and I've returned to them. And every time I returned, I found clarity. Start your day with the awareness that you are not here to be perfect. You are here to grow. And growth often looks ugly. Sometimes it feels like defeat. It looks like rejection, embarrassment, fear, or confusion. But growth is happening when you feel uncomfortable. Most people wake up and expect things to go smoothly. That's the wrong approach. You must start your day with the mindset that you may lose, and you must be okay with that. You may be rejected. You may make mistakes. You may not achieve everything you planned. But if you keep going, that's the real win. Resetting your thoughts means learning to expect difficulty and embracing it like an old friend. The people who succeed are not the ones who avoid hardship. They are the ones who build strength inside hardship. Every day, find a few moments to be completely silent. No phone, no noise, no music, just you and your breath. The world today is so loud that we don't even know what our own voice sounds like anymore. When your mind is always reacting to noise, it loses its power to create. In silence, the brain recovers. In silence, new ideas are born. You must make time to listen, not to others, but to yourself. 10 minutes of silence can be more powerful than an hour of motivation. If you want to reset your thoughts, first you must hear them clearly. And clarity can only come when the world is quiet. Expose yourself to people who disagree with you. Too many people today are addicted to agreement. They only want to hear opinions that match theirs. But this is weakness in disguise. A strong mind welcomes different ideas. You don't have to accept every opinion, but you should at least understand it. If your beliefs can't survive a disagreement, then your beliefs are too weak to guide your life. When you talk to someone who sees the world differently, you expand. You grow, and you develop a kind of mental flexibility that keeps you from becoming arrogant or narrow. Resetting your thoughts is about challenging them, not just protecting them. Do something hard every single day, even when nobody is watching. Especially when nobody is watching. Modern life teaches us to chase comfort, but comfort is a lie. Comfort makes the brain soft. When you avoid struggle, you avoid growth. Discipline is like a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. Wake up early when it's easier to sleep. Work when you'd rather rest. Speak up when fear tells you to be silent. These are not just actions. They are habits that reshape your identity. Over time, you begin to see yourself differently. You start thinking, I am someone who shows up no matter how I feel. That identity becomes power. That power becomes momentum. Laugh at your own mistakes. We are all human. We've all done stupid things. If you carry shame, you carry weight. If you laugh, you let go. I've made many mistakes, bad business decisions, wrong words at the wrong time, missed opportunities. At the time, they hurt. But looking back, I see those mistakes were teachers. If you cannot forgive your past will become your prison. But if you can smile at your foolishness, you take away its power. People who cannot laugh at their past are still living in it. Free yourself by realizing that mistakes are part of the journey. They don't define you unless you let them. Every day, give your mind new food. Feed it like you feed your body. Most people consume junk. Gossip, mindless scrawling, useless opinions. And then they wonder why their thoughts are anxious, bitter, or confused. You can't eat garbage and expect to be healthy. The same is true for the brain. Make it a habit to consume one meaningful idea a day. Read something deep. Watch something thoughtful. Listen to someone wise. Let your brain stretch. Let it struggle with new concepts. Over time, you will notice your thinking becoming more creative, more confident, more original. Your thoughts are the roots. Your results are the fruits. Stop worrying so much about what people think. Most of the time, they're not thinking about you at all. They're too busy worrying about their own lives. But we imagine eyes on us. We imagine judgment. We create fear in our heads, and this fear becomes a prison. Resetting your thoughts means breaking free from imaginary critics. You are allowed to try. You are allowed to fail. You are allowed to look foolish. That's how learning works. Every expert was once a beginner. Every strong voice once trembled. The more you act without fear of opinions, the more power you gain over your own mind. When life hits you, don't ask why me. Ask, what is this teaching me? Victims ask why. Students ask what? Life will not always be fair. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. But in every difficult moment, there is a lesson. Maybe the lesson is patience. Maybe it's humility. Maybe it's courage. If you can find the lesson, you can find the strength. If you focus only on the pain will consume you. But if you search for the meaning, the pain transforms. It becomes wisdom. It becomes direction. You begin to realize that setbacks don't block your path. They are the path. Finally, every night, end your day with one small win. Before you sleep, remind yourself of one thing you did well. It could be tiny. You stayed calm in a tough moment. You finished a task you were avoiding. You told the truth when it was hard. These small victories matter more than you think. They shape your self-image. They remind you that you are moving forward even if the progress is slow. And slow progress is still progress. Many people only focus on what they did wrong. That's a broken system. Reset your mind by focusing on what you did right. Build the habit of self-recognition. Not pride, just awareness. The world will not wait for you to get your thoughts right, but your dreams will die if you don't. Resetting your thinking is not a one-time decision. It is a daily discipline. The good news, you don't need a new brain. You don't need to be smarter, luckier, or richer. You just need to take responsibility for your mental environment. Every single day, choose clarity over noise, challenge over comfort, growth over shame. And when you do, slowly, quietly, and then powerfully, your thoughts will change. Your life will change. And the world will feel different. Not because it changed, but because you did. Let's not pretend that life is easy. It's not, and it's not meant to be. If everything was smooth, if every plan worked perfectly, and if every opportunity said yes, we wouldn't become stronger. We'd become spoiled. In life, your greatest asset is not your money, not your talent, not even your education. Your greatest asset is your mindset. But here's the problem: most people don't own their mindset. Their mindset owns them. Most people don't train their thoughts. They follow them blindly. They let doubt speak louder than courage. They let fear make more decisions than vision. They let pain define the future instead of inform it. So when we talk about resetting your thoughts, we are not talking about some fancy philosophy. We are talking about survival, about growth, about how to take back control from the voices that tell you you're not enough, from the habits that keep you stuck, from the opinions that were never yours to begin with. Resetting your thoughts means remembering who you are before the world told you who you should be. Now, let me be honest with you. I didn't always think like this. I used to think success was about finding the right opportunity, the perfect timing, or the best team. But what I learned, often the hard way, is that success starts in the mind. Before I changed my results, I had to change my relationship with failure. Before I could lead others, I had to lead myself through uncertainty. Before I could build anything lasting, I had to tear down the doubts that were already living in my head. That is the real work. the inner work. And it never ends. So how do we begin this process of resetting our thoughts? You start by developing new habits that help you think with strength instead of fear, not once a year, not when life falls apart, but every single day. You reset your thoughts through repetition by choosing again and again not to be the same person you were yesterday. You develop mental habits the same way you build muscle. Small reps, consistency, tension, discomfort. But if you stay in the process, you become mentally unshakable. And sometimes that starts by embracing the idea that you're going to lose. Yes, lose. You will be misunderstood. You will be rejected. You will work hard and see nothing in return, at least for a while. But don't fear loss. Use it. Learn from it. Respect it. When you stop trying to avoid failure, you start using it as fuel, and that changes everything. When your thoughts are no longer afraid of rejection, you become bold. And when you're bold, life starts to open doors that fear would have kept shut. You also need silence. Not as an escape, but as a tool. Most people are drowning in noise and don't even realize it. Every beep, every scroll, every opinion chips away at your clarity. So stop filling every gap with content. Don't rush to fill the quiet. In silence, you meet your truest thoughts. In silence, your real voice returns. 10 minutes of stillness each day is not a luxury. It's maintenance. It's how you clean the windshield before you drive. Without it, you're just reacting. With it, you're choosing. And there's a world of difference between reacting to life and choosing your life. If you really want to reset your thoughts, start speaking to people who challenge you. Not insult you. Challenge you. Talk to people who see the world differently. Not to argue, but to listen. Because if you always surround yourself with agreement, you will never grow. A weak idea can't survive disagreement. A strong idea welcomes it. So don't fear opposing views. Seek them out. Let your mind stretch. Let it be uncomfortable, because through that discomfort, you discover deeper clarity and stronger convictions. Another habit that resets your thoughts is doing hard things without asking for a reward. When you do something difficult without needing applause, your confidence grows in secret. Waking up early when your bed feels like heaven. Studying when your mind wants to wander. Showing kindness to someone who doesn't deserve it. These acts shape your mind into something resilient. You stop needing praise because you become self-powered. And the more self-powered you are, the more grounded your thoughts become. You stop asking, will this get me something, and start asking, will this make me stronger? And please, don't take your past so seriously. Yes, you've failed. Yes, you've made mistakes. Welcome to the club. But if your mind is stuck replaying old regrets, it cannot imagine new possibilities. Resetting your thoughts means forgiving yourself without forgetting the lessons. Laugh at your mistakes. Tell the stories. Smile at your younger self. Say, you didn't know better, but you kept going, and that matters. The more you can laugh at your own mess, the less control it has over your future. We also need to feed our mind something new every day. If you're not learning, you're decaying. You must actively feed your brain like you feed your body, or it will live on junk. You can't expect sharp thinking when you're consuming mental sugar. Replace gossip with insight. Replace complaints with learning. Read something smart. Watch something that challenges you. Listen to people who have done what you're trying to do. Even 10 minutes of intelligent input a day can change your thought patterns over time. You start thinking with structure. You gain language to express your ideas. You become less emotional and more strategic. Let go of what people think. I know, easier said than done. But remember this, most people are too busy judging themselves to truly judge you. You think they're watching your failures, they're worrying about their own. You think they remember what you said last week. They don't. They're not thinking about you as much as you imagine. And that's good. It means you can be free. Free to try. Free to start again. Free to look foolish in pursuit of growth. You're not here to impress the crowd. You're here to develop your character. Don't let imagined opinions kill real dreams. And when life throws you chaos, which it will, change the question. Don't ask, why is this happening to me? That question leads to bitterness. Instead, ask, what is this teaching me? That question leads to growth. Your pain can either destroy your mind or develop it. You get to choose. Every hardship contains wisdom. If you only focus on the frustration, you'll miss the insight. But if you search for the lesson, you'll walk away stronger. Every challenge is not a wall, it's a mirror. It reflects back the work you still need to do inside. And that awareness is power. Finally, end each day with a small win. Don't just review what went wrong. Reflect on what went right. Maybe you kept a promise to yourself. Maybe you spoke up. Maybe you were patient. These small wins are mental victories, and they add up. Over time, they build a mindset of progress. And when your mind believes you are progressing, it becomes hopeful. Hope, by the way, is not a feeling. It's a pattern. A thought pattern. And when you build it daily, you become unstoppable. When people talk about success, they talk about goals, business strategies, clever tactics, timing, and connections. But let me tell you something I've learned. All of those things are secondary. The real battle happens long before the world sees the results. It happens in your thoughts. It happens in the invisible conversations you have with yourself when no one is around. The difference between someone who gives up and someone who rises from failure again and again is not how talented they are. It's how they think. It's what they believe when everything around them says stop. The truth is, most people are not living with thoughts they chose. They are living with thoughts that were planted by parents who were afraid, by teachers who played it safe, by friends who gave up, by social media that thrives on fear. And without even realizing it, those thoughts start running your life. You avoid risk. You play small. You hesitate. You apologize for your own existence. That's not a personality problem. That's a thought problem. And that's why resetting your thoughts is not some self-help hobby. It's the foundation of transformation. Resetting your mind doesn't require money or a perfect environment or a dramatic life event. It requires a decision. A decision to stop letting old patterns run your future. A decision to interrupt fear before it becomes a belief. A decision to notice the moment your thoughts shrink and to choose expansion instead. No one can make that decision for you. But the moment you do, your life begins to move in a new direction, sometimes slowly, sometimes silently, but always forward. Every day you wake up and your thoughts begin running before your feet hit the ground. That's where the work begins. Most people start the day hoping everything goes right. But that's not a strong strategy. What you need is not the hope for an easy day, but the mindset to handle a hard one. Instead of waking up and expecting perfection, wake up expecting resistance. Expect things to go wrong. Expect people to misunderstand you. Expect your plans to fall apart. That way, when life throws you its usual chaos, you're not shocked, you're ready. And because you're ready, your thoughts stay strong. Instead of asking, why is this happening? You're already thinking, this is part of the path. You have to understand that resilience isn't just built during the hard moments. It's built before them. It's built in the way you think. And one of the simplest ways to strengthen your thoughts is to create space in your mind. We live in a world that constantly tries to fill your attention with noise, information, distractions, and emotional reactions. If you are not intentional, you will become mentally exhausted before you even begin your day. That's why you need silence. Not just physical silence, but mental silence. Take 10 minutes a day and remove everything. No music, no phone, no conversation, no scrolling. Just sit, just breathe, let your mind settle. In that stillness, your deepest thoughts rise to the surface. You begin to hear the part of yourself that's often drowned by noise, the part that knows the truth, the part that remembers the dream, the part that still believes. Resetting your thoughts starts with meeting them in silence. Another important discipline is to challenge your mind on purpose. That means exposing yourself to ideas that make you uncomfortable. Talk to someone who sees the world differently. Listen to someone you disagree with. Read a book that shakes your beliefs. Not to argue, not to win, but to grow. Because if your thoughts are never challenged, they don't become stronger. They become fragile. They become rigid. And rigid thinking breaks easily. The strongest thoughts are not the ones that have never been questioned. They are the ones that have been tested and survived. When you engage with opposing ideas, you are not betraying your identity. You are expanding your capacity. And that's a habit that rewires your brain to be adaptive, grounded, and wise. Sometimes people ask me, how do I become more confident? My answer is simple: do hard things when no one is watching. When you do something difficult without needing credit, you build quiet confidence. You start believing in yourself, not because of praise, but because of proof. Every time you resist comfort, every time you do the thing you don't want to do, you teach your mind that it serves your mission, not your mood. That's power. Wake up early when the bed is warm. Speak up when it's easier to stay silent. Work when no one's clapping. These small acts are not just behaviors, they're blueprints. They tell your brain, I'm not here for convenience. I'm here to grow. Too many people are carrying the weight of past mistakes like it's their identity. But let me ask you something. If you tripped while learning how to walk, did that make you a failure? No. You were learning, so why do we shame ourselves for falling while learning how to live? You must learn to laugh at your mistakes. Not because they weren't serious, but because you are bigger than them now. When you can laugh, you let go. And when you let go, you're finally free to think without the past whispering in your ear. You don't erase the memory, you just remove its power to define you. That's what a reset really is. Not forgetting, but forgiving. If you want your thoughts to grow, you must feed them something new. Just like a body needs nutrients, the mind needs ideas. And not just opinions and entertainment, real ideas. Concepts that challenge your perspective, stories that widen your empathy, strategies that sharpen your focus. If you can commit to learning one new idea a day, you will be a different person in a year. One idea per day. That's it. It might come from a book, a podcast, a conversation, or even a mistake. But if you are learning, you are growing. And growth protects your thoughts from decay. Because when you're growing, you don't have time to be stuck in the past. Another thing you need to remember, and this one is critical, is that most people are not thinking about you. We fear judgment so much that we often sabotage our dreams before anyone else gets a chance to. But the truth is, people are too busy judging themselves to obsess over you. They're worried about their own failures, their own image, their own pain. And that's your freedom. Once you realize the world isn't watching as closely as you think, you can act with courage. You can fail publicly. You can start over. You can make bold moves. Because their thoughts don't control your life. Yours do. And when pain enters your life, because it will, don't waste it. Most people react to pain with confusion. They say, why me? But pain is not punishment. Pain is information. It's the signal that something needs attention, something needs to be built, something needs to be understood. When you shift the question from why me to what is this teaching me, your brain goes from helpless to hopeful. Living with urgency. Start living with purpose. Because the best investment you will ever make is in your time. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, my friends.